Okay, good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I really appreciated the time from the morning up to now because I had the chance to speak with many people from the audience, both from the local audience and also from people like me that are attending this conference coming from abroad. As was announced, I'm covering the Microsoft business with government institutions for 24 countries. These are countries, eastbound is Mongolia, westbound is Malta. As you can imagine, quite diverse and region in terms of culture, maturity, organizational processes, understanding and adoption of IT, etc. That gives me a lot of rich content when I speak in front of such distinguished people like you about what is the level of IT literacy, IT adoption in different areas. And when I want to discuss different topics with representatives from both the government institutions and also from the local business elite, I don't want to speak about technology per se. Because for me, the ultimate objective for any discussion is what is the result. And how do we measure the investments we do in technology, or how do we use technology as levers to achieve certain objectives. Particularly for governments, what are the set of objectives that each government needs to achieve? GDP growth, unemployment rate, lower unemployment rate, youth engagement, citizen engagement into the work life on a daily basis, security, both physical and also cyber security. So all these objectives can be achieved with using technology, using the best practices and know-how from Microsoft as a company and also from our partners, both local and international. And when we speak about public sector, what we mean as a public sector dynamics, it is not only central governments. We call it modern government. We call it because it requires different, or how to say, changes in the business process, innovation not only in the way how they implement technologies, but also innovation in the way how governments are managing their country operations, and also local governments, how they're managing their local government priorities. Then we speak about empowerment education, or what we do in order to make sure the young generation are the next leaders of this country. We speak about digital health, and also we speak about Microsoft CityNext, an initiative that we announced a couple of years back. And last but not least, we speak about trustworthy computing, public safety, and national security. And especially on this topic, you will see tomorrow one of our colleagues will be presenting our vision and our strategy and how we can help institutions, not only government but also private sector, in the area of public safety and national security. Before I move to a more, how to say, government-oriented topic, I want to share with you what we see as the trends on a worldwide basis. The first one is mobility. Just imagine how many devices each of us has today with us. We have a smartphone, we have tablets, we have notebooks. So the proliferation of these devices is driving the mobility trend not only on government levels, but also in any other organization and also in the consumer society. This mobility also impacts the productivity of us as employees or employers. The second trend is around social. We see that 65% of the organizations are starting to implement social software. People may ask why. So just imagine the potential of a social network in your organization, how you can capture the knowledge, how you can capture the ideas, and how you can leverage the innovation the employees are bringing by socializing among themselves. This also gives the employees the perspective of more flexibility and feeling important as part of a given organization. Then we speak about cloud. Cloud is a new trend, or how to say, a trend that we see accelerating the last couple of years. And when we speak about cloud, we have in mind the high security within a private cloud environment, the functionality and accessibility within the public cloud services, and of course the hybrid cloud model that we as a company are leading in our discussions and projects with customers. The fourth element is big data. And when we speak about big data, we mean three parameters. Volume, the amount of data that we generate, the amount of data we use. We speak about velocity, and this is the speed that data are generated. And we also speak about variety. And variety, and this is totally unstructured data when we speak about big data. And the question now in front of governments, in front of organizations, and in front of us is what we do with this big data. How we can take the benefits by analyzing the trends, by coming to a different results and conclusions working on big data. And of course, there is a fifth element, which is security. The cybersecurity business is going to grow 200% by 2017. And this is a trend that we started to put into our presentation and discussion as maybe not the fifth in the ranking, but equal to the other four trends that as we see in the world. Now, let's go back to my, how to say, core responsibility, and this is our partnership with government institutions. And what I see as discussing with government representatives among these 24 countries, this is the trend that governments are now starting to change significantly. They start to understand that they need to, how to say, to work more closely with citizens. They need to change their business processes, and they need to understand that now they work in a totally different environment. Let me share with you one example that happened last year. Yes, last year. We were having a similar conference in another country, and one of their elite politicians said the following: our biggest challenge is not the country debt, it is not the unemployment. Our biggest challenge is the mentality of us as politicians. We need to understand that we need to change ourselves. The ribbon cutting ceremony is not the one that will make us re-elected. What will make us re-elected is the way how we work with citizens, how we integrate citizens into our daily job, and how we open up and be more transparent than we have been up to now. So for me, this is an example that governments are changing. They're changing the way how they lead a country and the way how they lead certain organizations. And one of the priorities of the governments is how they can sustain or how they can grow a country by making this country more competitive on a worldwide basis. I know that representatives from government of Georgia are attending the World Economic Forum in Davos every year. And I want to show you, these are data from the last report that was published recently by Davos on the country competitiveness worldwide. So they analyze 144 countries are in the ranking. And as you can see the trend about Georgia. So you're progressing as a country. You're increasing your competitiveness as a country. And the last 4 years, you grew from 88th place to 69 is your last report. However, if we go down deep into the details, you will see that Georgia is still in that group of countries where we say it's efficiency indicators countries. What should be your objective or your goal? It needs that you need to move to the group of innovators. And here is where Georgia is a little bit lagging. As you can see from the innovation indicators, you are a little bit behind the other countries. Overall, countries progressing, you're moving up from 88 to 69, you're even above Croatia, Slovenia, countries that are European Union members. However, if you want to progress, and I'm very happy hearing the other presenters, that you need to continue invest into innovations. To make a country competitive, there are two major areas that we advise governments to do. The first one is investment in education. So how you make sure that the young generation are ready to realize themselves after graduating high schools or universities. And I have put a quote from your Prime Minister after a meeting he had with your science community last month or in September, where he says that science, this is a foundation any successful country should stand on. We have great traditions in this regard, and that needs further support and development. For me, this is a very strong statement and commitment about the investment in science and in education. So what are the country priorities as I see it, reading through different documents, speaking representatives of government institutions? Increase access to learning opportunities, increase access to technologies, which was also mentioned a couple of times, and also improving the teaching and learning process. What we do as Microsoft to support these priorities? We have a so-called Shape the Future program. And one example of Shape the Future program is recently deployed 46,000 devices under this special program that we have with Windows 8 for the K-12 students. So this is a first step. We understand that we cannot cover all schools in Georgia, but this investment is a significant first step in that direction. The second program that we launched last year is so-called Student Advantage, and that gives the possibility of every student in universities to use Office 365 free of charge. This is a public cloud service that we are offering also in Georgia, and it gives the possibility of students to increase their collaboration with professors, with teachers, among themselves, to attend virtual sessions in the universities, and that gives additional perspective, additional level of flexibility and learning experience to the students. The last initiative is startups. And I don't know if you have heard, but we have a program called Microsoft Ventures. Microsoft Ventures is a program that focuses on startups. We are helping startup companies to grow from the very beginning up to the moment they start benefiting from their startup activities. Within Microsoft Ventures, we work with venture capital funds, with seeding funds. There are two very strong funds that we work that are covering a lot of countries in Central and Eastern Europe. Both of them are based in Bulgaria. No coincidence that I'm Bulgarian by nationality, but Launch Hub and 11, they also were having some discussions with startup companies here in Georgia. So overall, we have, within this initiative, we have Bespark Consulting Premium, which is another way how we support startup companies. There are 551 companies in the region that I'm working in that are under this program, and 300 companies already graduated. So these are companies that started to benefit commercially and financially from all their startup activities. And let me give you two examples here. The first example is around the investment in education. Hungary, they open up, I'm sorry about that, they open up the education portal 2 months ago that is funded by European Union funds. This education portal objective is to give an equal possibility for all students in the country. So you can go in the portal, you can download, or you can work online on digital curriculum, and this is equal to no matter it's a private school, public school, whether it's an undeveloped region or it's in the capital of the country. Another example is we have 3 companies that graduated from our startup initiatives 2 years ago. Now they're covering 10 countries with their business model. They're covering these 10 countries, and they're doing real business activities. Something else I want also to mention, because this combines what was mentioned about open data in one of the first, in the previous session, about our startup initiatives. This is a dashboard. So this dashboard is used by the mayor and the city council of Barcelona. And these are live data. That dashboard was developed by a company called Bismart that grew within the Microsoft Startup Initiative within one of the tech parks in Barcelona. So this data that you can see, green means okay, red means that the data are not very, the trend is not very good. So the mayor is looking, and his council are looking at this every day. And this is public information. This is open data. The data that are integrated into this dashboard are coming from different sources. This dashboard is hosted on Azure, which is another public service that we offer also in Georgia. But this is what I wanted to show you, a pure example about investment in education, startup, and public cloud services, plus the open data initiative that was launched 2 years ago in Brazil. The second area that we believe that the government needs to do in order to increase the competitiveness of the country is in the e-governance. And when I say e-governance, I mean the rule of law, the environment, the modern infrastructure, the integration with European Union institutions and values, and the transparency, and also the national competitiveness. So what are the strategy that the government needs to build in this environment? Now, when I was preparing my presentation, I was saying, okay, I will give examples to the audience from other countries in the region. So examples of good and best practices about e-governance. However, knowing what you are doing in Georgia, I want to give example from your own country. And this is the first one, which you already know. This is the Data Exchange Agency. We in Microsoft are using this as a reference, how this agency implemented the government gateway in order to optimize the processes, in order to be more transparent, and in order to make sure that the different systems are integrated and reduced and optimize their cost of operation. The other example is the Civil Registry Agency. Again, these are visionaries in terms of organizations, and I'm giving these 2 examples when I speak with other countries. The third example I will spare it for the end of my presentation. But these are examples where government institutions are building the infrastructure, and they're providing the service both internally and also externally. But the other element that we need to do, and you need to do, is how you involve the citizens, how you involve more the people of Georgia to be part of the processes. Because if you only provide services and you don't have the involvement of the citizens, then there is something wrong with the strategy, something wrong with the infrastructure. What's next? So many people will say, okay, if you're giving 2 of the government agencies in Georgia as best practices, what's next? Next is cloud. And when I say cloud, I just want to give you a very short example from Estonia. They have Global Information Society Initiative. I will not read, I mean, you can see by yourself But I want to mention something very specific within this initiative that was launched by the President and by the government. You can also read that there are a lot of publications about their initiative, Digital Embassy. So what they say is that if something happens in the country, natural disaster or something else, and all our infrastructure is ruined, what we do then? How we service citizens? And this is how they came up with the Digital Embassy idea. They want to build in the cloud the country operations. So no matter whether the country infrastructure operates, all the citizens and organizations can easily use the cloud as a platform to continue their daily operations or critical activities. So this is an example when people ask me what's next. So we have built excellent infrastructure, what's next? Next is cloud. And here I want also to mention one reference from today. You can find this outside somewhere. This is a Ministry of Finance in Georgia. This is an excellent vision about how this team of people can want to bring the organization to a next level of e-governance. So our vision for the future. Last year, Microsoft announced our strategy. We said mobile first, cloud first. We want to give the productivity reimagination to both organizations and consumers. This is our strategy. We want to make sure digital life and work have better experience. And I want to make a parallel between our strategy as a company and your strategy as a country related to ICT. This is a quote from the government program that is publicly available, How to Build Strong, Democratic and Unified Georgia. And I have underlined some of the words. One of the top priorities of the countries is the development of ICT. Knowledge and innovation-based economy, transforming intellectual products. And something that I wanted to underline is the forming of the Technological and Innovation Agency that we heard about, how it was established and what are their visions. So, to wrap it up, what we understand as a public sector dynamics. This is modern government, this is empowered education, digital health, Microsoft City Next, and trustworthy cloud, public safety and national security. Thank you very much.